So they finally found the guy who shot Charlie Kirk. And yes, it is a terrible thing that it happened. And I know a lot of people were completely on the other side or are on the other side thinking that this is a good thing. But from an African perspective, I can promise you this is not what you want. And I know you're probably thinking, what do you mean from an African perspective? Well, as someone who lives in Africa, even some of the best countries, and South Africa is a great example of a very good country. If you came here and lived in the suburb areas or cities or any of that, you would notice that this is a very good country, but it still has corruption. And a lot of the corruption leads to death, political death. For some people who are getting it confused, I again am saying that Charlie Kirk was not the greatest person when it came to the rights of other people, especially black people. I do believe that he spread misinformation about black Africans, which is why I was making videos on my channel. I mean, two of them I had to abandon because the timing just wasn't right if the guy is dead. But I was making videos that were going to dispute some of the craziest things that he said. But again, this does not mean that it's okay to do this. And again, I'm from Africa. I'm going to put it in a link in the description that will show you what happens when you have political violence in your country. It starts off, by the way, as a political party thing, like, oh, we're just doing this. And then they start turning it on their own people. And then they just start going after anybody who has a problem with them. And then it just becomes a protection thing. Right now in South Africa, people like whistleblowers who whistleblow over the corruption in our country, they've been killed. I'm not talking about one or two people. I'm talking about consistently for years. Okay, whistleblowers is one thing, but who else are they killing? They're killing politicians. They're killing for positions, by the way. So they're like, oh, he took my position, and then they just kill the guy. This starts off with political rivals thinking that it's okay to get another person, and then when they run out of political rivals to go after, they start going after their own, and then they start doing the whole protection thing because now they're in the gang world. Now, there's probably some of you who are on the same mentality that I'm on, which is, and it's quite unfortunate, which is because Charlie Kirk is so famous, his case is being highlighted and all of that. And even I highlighted it because it's so famous and everything and happened on TV, which is the point. But of course, it's not lost on me that there are thousands of black people who die all the time, every day around the world, and we do not highlight them at all. But again, that's just the nature. If you don't die on TV, if you don't do it, people are just not going to talk about you, unfortunately. And one of the reasons is respect, because I don't know if you're not on TV, I don't know if you want to be talked about or not. We all saw what happened with George Floyd. If you die on TV, if you die on in the screen, people are going to talk about you even for years after that. Now, George Floyd is a good example of someone who has been getting a lot of respect because of how he died. And then when people try to bring up things that happened in his past or whatever, what do we say when this happens? What do we say? What does everybody say? What does that have to do with the death, the senseless death of a man who was defenseless in the middle of the street? And I say the same thing about Charlie Kirk. I don't put them on the same area. Charlie Kirk was a dangerous person. I'm not even getting into that, but he was dangerous in terms of his rhetoric that influenced too many people to go in their direction. But again, to shoot someone in the neck is crazy. Now, the person who did it, like I said again, his own family said he had been getting more political. I don't know what that means. I heard that he might be a Trump supporter. I don't know why a Trump supporter would shoot a right winger, but crazier things have happened. Now, to go back to what I was saying about Africa, and remember, South Africa is pretty bad with corruption, but we're not the worst in Africa, and we're not even the worst when it comes to our violence. But still, I want to use it as an example of what happens when you let violence go crazy. Now, obviously, South Africa is a little different because this is not rhetoric. This is not speech that is getting you there, but it doesn't matter what gets you there. Once you're there, you're there. And I promise you, you don't want it. So let me quickly address the other side because there's been too many people saying things like, now that Charlie Kirk is dead, they're going to go 10 times worse than they did before. This is a giant problem. This is a very, very big problem because you do not want people making promises. I mean, you've already seen how far they're willing to go for their politics already. To think that they could create a martyr, which they take to the next level, it's something that we should not be looking forward to. It's something that we should not be. Again, we need to calm people down. But of course, if you laugh at their person that they liked, if you think those people are going to listen to you after that, then you've got another thing coming. Again, I want to stress, I understand that he said some pretty horrible things. I've even been watching new things that I didn't even know he said. Like I said, I had some stuff lined up that I was going to make videos. You guys saw that I had already made one about South Africa, calling out the fact that he was giving opinions on a country and he didn't even do the tiniest bit of research. He was just basing it off of basically nothing. And I that's I don't see anything wrong with me calling that out at any point of time. Even today, I wouldn't see a point that is wrong to call any of that out. But again, I am fully against the hunting down of human beings because I know what that is like. I mean, I know people in my own family who've been shot. So if it's not fun. For whatever reason, it's not fun. Now, here's the last part, the thing that I'll say though. I still believe in, well, I believe in my own version of freedom of speech, which goes a little bit beyond what America says, but I believe in freedom of speech. I believe if you really feel that this guy was a big problem, that you can say whatever you want. I still think that you should be allowed to say whatever you want. I actually don't want to blame talk. I don't believe that it was speech that made this guy do any of the stuff that he did. I think that he probably, he psyched himself out. He did something to his own brain. And a lot of these guys, I'm almost sure that if it wasn't Charlie, it'd be someone else. Maybe someone a little more personal or something like that. I believe it's a major problem, but I don't want to give my theories out there about the person's psychology. All I gotta say is this type of stuff needs to stop. Now, let's talk about it. Yes, two Democrats got attacked this year. Yes, the other side did not react the way that you would want. Well, not all of them. A lot of people did react in a positive way. It's it's still, like a countdown from the time that some major Republicans are still, not giving a damn about what happens to Democrats who get attacked. And the only reason I can say this is because I care what happens to people on the other side. And if you want to be that type of person, then you have to join me and say I condemn it on both sides. So in a when you need a reason to vote, when you need a reason to talk back, when you need any reason, you can look back and say, do I want to vote for the guy who doesn't even care when people die? But in order to do that, you have to be a good person. Once you do that, it's done. What can they say against you? By the way, if you want more proof that you don't want to live in this type of world, you can look into the assassination of Shinzo Abe, or you can look into the assassination, which, by the way, I mean, Japan, they always talk about how there's no guns in Japan, but this person manufactured the gun in a makeshift way. Again, we all know that Japan is a democracy, but again, things like this happen. Now, I will say that, like most places, if you do stuff like this, there will always be a backlash, which happened, by the way, in Japan as well, and in other places. Luckily, in South Africa, there hasn't been a president assassinated yet, which is good. But I want you to do your own research and stuff like this. I know if you're probably living in a good country and stuff is going well right now, that you might think that things are going to get better if you just get rid of your enemies. But I promise you, it doesn't get better. It just gets worse. And then it gets scary. And the people you thought you liked suddenly start looking scarier and scarier. It's almost like gangs where they think they're protecting each other. And then eventually, when they run out of people to shoot, they start turning on each other. Don't allow your country to be a runaway country like a lot of countries where bad things just happen. Now, I'm not saying Japan is one of those. It's definitely not. But again, I'm going to link it. Go look it up. Go look up the one in South Africa. Tell me even from the videos that I show you from that link, if you can tell what party these people are from. You can't, because it hardly matters.